The rain poured down in icy sheets, soaking Lily's thin dress as she stood trembling on the grand marble steps of the Hawthorne mansion. Her dark hair clung to her face, and tears streamed down her cheeks, mixing with the rain. Her suitcase, small and tattered, lay at her feet, thrown out like trash. The massive oak doors slammed shut behind her, with a loud bang that echoed in her heart. Inside, the cruel laughter of her husband's family rang, out cold, sharp, and mocking. "You're nothing but a filthy nobody," sneered Victoria, her sister-in-law, from the doorway. "You don't belong here, Lily. Get out and never come back." Lily's knees shook as she clutched her coat tighter, her sobs breaking through the storm. She had nowhere to go, no one to turn to. The family she'd tried so hard to please had turned on her. They'd called her worthless, a gold digger, a mistake. And her husband, Ethan Hawthorne, the billionaire who'd promised to love her forever, stood silently behind them, his face unreadable. Why wasn't he defending her? Why was he letting them throw her out like this? As Lily stumbled down the steps, her foot caught on the wet stone, and she fell hard, scraping her hands. The pain shot through her, but it was nothing compared to the ache in her chest. She looked back one last time, hoping Ethan would run after her, tell her it was all a mistake. But the doors stayed closed. Lightning cracked across the sky, and Lily's heart shattered. What had she done to deserve this? And what was Ethan hiding behind his cold, silent stare? The truth would shock everyone. Billed up 3 months earlier, Lily Carter was just a regular girl living in a small apartment above a bakery in the quiet town of Willow Creek. She was 24, with kind brown eyes and a smile that made everyone feel warm. She wasn't rich or fancy. She worked as a waitress, saving every penny to help her sick mom pay for medicine. Her life was simple, but she was happy. One rainy afternoon, a shiny black car pulled up outside the diner. The bell above the door jingled, and in walked Ethan Hawthorne. Tall, with sharp green eyes and a suit that probably cost more than Lily's rent, he looked like he belonged in a movie, not her little diner. Everyone stared, but Ethan's eyes locked on Lily as she poured coffee at the counter. Hi, Lily said, nervous under his gaze. "What can I get you?" He smiled, a small, warm smile that made her heart skip. "Just coffee. And maybe your name?" Lily blushed. "It's Lily." That was the start of everything. Ethan came back to the diner every day, always sitting in Lily's section. He didn't talk much about himself, but he asked her about her life, her dreams, her mom, her love for painting. He listened like he really cared. Soon, they were meeting outside the diner, going for walks by the river, laughing over ice cream. Ethan was different from anyone Lily had ever met. He was kind, thoughtful, and made her feel special. But Ethan had a secret. One evening, as they sat on a park bench, he took her hand and said, "Lily, there's something you need to know. I'm not just some guy. I'm Ethan Hawthorne of Hawthorne Enterprises. My family is, well, they're rich, really rich." Lily's eyes widened. She'd heard of Hawthorne Enterprises. It was a huge company that owned hotels, malls, and factories all over the world. "You're that Ethan Hawthorne?" she asked, her voice small. He nodded, looking nervous. "I didn't tell you at first, because I wanted you to like me for me, not my money. Do you still want to be with me?" Lily squeezed his hand. "Ethan, I don't care about your money. I like you. That was the moment Ethan knew he loved her. A month later, he proposed under a sky full of stars, promising to give her the world. Lily said yes, her heart full of hope. They got married in a small, secret ceremony, just the two of them, because Ethan said his family wouldn't understand. "They're complicated," he warned. "But I'll protect you, Lily. Always." Lily believed him. She trusted him with her whole heart. But she had no idea what was waiting for her. Pacing, rising tension. After the wedding, Ethan brought Lily to the Hawthorne mansion, a massive house that looked like a castle. It had tall towers, endless hallways, and chandeliers that sparkled like diamonds. But the moment Lily stepped inside, she felt a chill. The house was cold, and so were the people in it. Ethan's family was nothing like him. His mother, Margaret, was a tall woman with sharp eyes and a smile that never reached them. His sister, Victoria, was beautiful but mean, always whispering cruel things when Ethan wasn't around. His older brother, Marcus, barely looked at Lily, like she was invisible. They all made her feel small, like she didn't belong. "You're just a waitress," Victoria said one day, smirking as she sipped her wine. "Do you really think you're good enough for Ethan?" Lily's cheeks burned, but she didn't answer. She didn't want to cause trouble. She loved Ethan, and he loved her. That was enough, right? But the family's words started to creep into her mind. At dinners, they ignored her or made snide comments about her clothes, her manners, her simple life. Margaret once asked, "Why did Ethan choose you when he could have anyone?" Lily tried to laugh it off, but it hurt. Ethan noticed her sadness. One night, as they lay in bed, he pulled her close. "Don't listen to them, Lily. They're just jealous because you're real. And they're not. I love you, and that's all that matters." Lily smiled, but deep down, she felt a tiny seed of doubt. Why did Ethan let his family treat her this way? Why didn't he stand up to them? The tension grew worse when Ethan started leaving for long business trips. He'd be gone for days, sometimes weeks, working on deals for Hawthorne Enterprises. Lily was left alone in the mansion, surrounded by people who hated her. Victoria started spreading lies, telling the staff Lily was lazy or rude. The maids stopped talking to her. The cook forgot to make her meals. Lily felt like a ghost in her own home. One day, she found a letter on her pillow. It was written in sharp, angry handwriting. "You don't belong here. Leave before we make you." Lily's hands shook as she read it. She showed it to Ethan when he came home, but he frowned and said, "It's probably just a prank. Don't worry, okay?" But Lily was worried. The letter wasn't a prank, it was a warning. And things were about to get much worse. Pacing. High moment one, stormy evening. Ethan was away on another trip. Lily was in her room, painting a picture of the river where she and Ethan used to walk. It was the only thing that made her feel calm in the cold mansion. Suddenly, the door burst open, and Victoria stormed in, her face twisted with anger. "What are you doing?" Victoria snapped, snatching the paintbrush from Lily's hand. "You think you're an artist now? You're nothing but a fake, Lily. You tricked Ethan into marrying you." "I didn't trick anyone," Lily cried, standing up. "I love him." Victoria laughed, a cruel sound that made Lily's skin crawl. "Love? You're after his money, just like every other gold digger. But you're not fooling us." Before Lily could answer, Margaret appeared in the doorway, her arms crossed. "Enough, Victoria," she said coldly. "It's time we deal with this." Lily's heart pounded. Deal with what? Margaret's eyes narrowed. You, Lily. You're a mistake. Ethan deserves better. We've already spoken to him, and he agrees. Lily felt like the floor had dropped out from under her. What? No. Ethan loves me. He wouldn't. He's done with you, Victoria interrupted, smirking. He told us to get rid of you. Lily's world spun. She tried to call Ethan, but her phone was missing. She ran to the hallway, shouting for help, but the staff ignored her. Marcus appeared, holding her suitcase. Time to go, he said, his voice flat. No, Lily screamed, tears streaming down her face. I want to talk to Ethan. Please. But they didn't listen. Victoria grabbed her arm, dragging her toward the front door. Margaret watched, her face like stone. The storm outside roared as they pushed Lily onto the marble steps, throwing her suitcase after her. You're nothing, Victoria hissed, and you'll never see Ethan again. The door slammed shut, leaving Lily alone in the rain, her heart broken and her life in pieces. Cliffhanger as Lily sat sobbing on the steps. A sleek black car pulled up to the mansion. The door opened, and a man stepped out, his face hidden by the shadows of the storm. Lightning flashed, revealing his sharp green eyes. Lily knew better than anyone. It was Ethan, but he wasn't alone. A woman in a red dress stepped out beside him, her hand on his arm. She looked rich, confident, everything Lily wasn't. Ethan's eyes met Lily's, and for a moment, time stopped. Was this real? Had he really betrayed her? Or was something else going on? Before Lily could call out to him, the woman in the red dress whispered something in Ethan's ear, and he turned away, walking into the mansion without a word. The car drove off, leaving Lily frozen in the rain, her mind racing with questions. The rain pounded harder as Lily stood frozen on the wet steps of the Hawthorne mansion, her eyes locked on the spot where Ethan had disappeared. His green eyes, those eyes she'd trusted, loved, had looked right through her, cold and distant, as if she were a stranger. The woman in the red dress, her arm looped through Ethan's, had smirked before they vanished into the mansion. The heavy oak doors slammed shut again, sealing Lily out in the storm. Her heart felt like it was being squeezed in a vice. Was this really happening? Had Ethan, the man who'd promised to love her forever, turned his back on her? Lily's knees buckled, and she sank to the ground, her hands scraping against the cold marble. Her tattered suitcase lay beside her, soaked through. She wanted to scream, to run after him, to demand answers. But the rain drowned out her sobs, and the wind stole her breath. Who was that woman? Why hadn't Ethan stopped to help her? And why did it feel like her whole world was unraveling? As lightning cracked across the sky, a strange sound cut through the storm, a low, rumbling growl, like an engine. Lily looked up, wiping the rain from her eyes. A shadowy figure stood at the edge of the driveway, half hidden by the downpour. It wasn't Ethan. It wasn't anyone she recognized. The figure held something in their hand, glinting faintly in the lightning's flash. A phone? A weapon? Lily's heart raced. She was alone, vulnerable, and something told her this night was about to get even worse. Build up. A glimpse into the past. 2 months before that terrible night, Lily had still been trying to fit into the Hawthorne family's world. She wasn't used to fancy dinners or designer clothes, but she did her best to make Ethan proud. She wore the dresses he bought her, practiced her table manners, and even tried to learn about his company, Hawthorne Enterprises. She wanted to show his family she wasn't just a simple girl from Willow Creek. But no matter how hard she tried, they treated her like dirt. One sunny afternoon, Lily was in the mansion's garden, sketching flowers in her notebook. It was her favorite place, quiet, colorful, and far from Victoria's sharp tongue or Margaret's icy stares. Ethan had been gone for a week on a business trip to London, and Lily missed him terribly. She was shading a rose when a shadow fell over her. "Still pretending you belong here?" Victoria's voice was like a whip. She stood with her arms crossed, her blonde hair perfect even in the breeze. "You know Ethan's only with you because he feels sorry for you, right?" Lily's pencil froze. "That's not true," she said softly, but her voice shook. Victoria laughed, stepping closer. "Oh, please. Ethan's a Hawthorne. He needs someone with class, not a waitress who smells like coffee grounds. You're just a phase, Lily. He'll get bored soon." Lily's cheeks burned. She wanted to argue, but the words stuck in her throat. Victoria always knew how to make her feel small. Before she could respond, a car horn beeped, and Victoria smirked. "That's my ride. Enjoy your little drawings, peasant." She strutted away, leaving Lily alone with her doubts. That night, when Ethan called, Lily tried to tell him how hard things were. "Your family, they don't like me," she said, her voice barely above a whisper. "Victoria said, I'm not good enough for you." Ethan's voice was warm but firm. "Lily, don't listen to her. She's just jealous. You're my wife, and I love you. I'll be home soon, okay? We'll fix this together." Lily nodded, even though he couldn't see her. "Okay," she whispered, but the seed of doubt Victoria had planted was growing. Why was Ethan always away, and why did his family hate her so much? Pacing, rising, tension. The days dragged on, and the mansion felt more like a prison. Lily started noticing strange things. Her phone would go missing for hours, then reappear on her bed. Her painting zones she kept hidden in her room were moved or torn. Once, she found a note slipped under her door that said, "Leave or you'll regret it." The handwriting was different from the first note, sharper and angrier. She showed it to Ethan when he returned, but he brushed it off again. "It's probably just Victoria being dramatic," he said, kissing her forehead. "Don't let it get to you." But it did get to her. Lily started feeling watched, even when she was alone. One night, she woke up to footsteps outside her door. She sat up, heart pounding, but when she opened the door, the hallway was empty. The next morning, she found a single red rose on her pillow, beautiful but creepy, like a warning. Things got worse when Ethan announced he had to go on another trip, this time to New York. "It's a big deal for the company," he explained, packing his suitcase. "I'll only be gone a week." Lily grabbed his hand, her voice shaking. "Ethan, please don't leave me here. Your family, they scare me. I don't feel safe." Ethan's face softened. He pulled her into a hug. "I promise, Lily, nothing will happen to you. I'll talk to my family when I get back. We'll make things right." But as he drove away, Lily felt a knot in her stomach. She didn't know it then, but that was the last time she'd see Ethan before everything fell apart. Pacing. High moment. The night before Lily was kicked out, the mansion was eerily quiet. Ethan was still in New York, and the family had been colder than ever. Lily stayed in her room, trying to paint, but her hands wouldn't stop shaking. She kept thinking about the notes, the rose, the footsteps. Was someone trying to scare her away? Or was it something worse? Around midnight, she heard a knock on her door. She froze, her paintbrush hovering over the canvas. "Who's there?" she called, her voice trembling. No answer. The knock came again, louder. Lily's heart raced. She tiptoed to the door and peeked through the peephole. No one was there. Slowly, she opened the door, and her breath caught. A small, black box sat on the floor, tied with a red ribbon. Her hands shook as she picked it up. Inside was a single key, old and rusted, with a note. "You'll need this soon." Lily's blood ran cold. She slammed the door and locked it, pushing a chair against it for good measure. She didn't sleep that night, jumping at every creak and shadow. By morning, she was exhausted, her eyes red from crying. She decided to confront Margaret. She couldn't take it anymore. She found Margaret in the dining room, sipping tea. "Mrs. Hawthorne," Lily said, holding up the key and note. "What is this? Why is someone leaving me these things?" Margaret didn't even look at her. "I have no idea what you're talking about," she said coldly. "Maybe you're imagining things. You've been unstable lately." Lily's jaw dropped. "Unstable? I'm not imagining this. Someone's trying to scare me." Margaret finally looked up, her eyes like ice. "If you're so unhappy, Lily, maybe you should leave. This family doesn't need your drama." Before Lily could argue, Victoria burst in, smirking. "Oh, look, the little waitress is causing trouble again. Ethan's going to love hearing about this." That was the moment everything snapped. Hours later, the family cornered her, accused her of lying, of stealing Ethan's love, of ruining their name. They dragged her to the door, threw her suitcase out, and left her in the rain. And then Ethan appeared with that woman, shattering her heart. Cliffhanger back in the storm, Lily clutched the rusted key she'd found in the black box, her fingers trembling. The shadowy figure at the edge of the driveway was still there, watching her. Lightning flashed again, and she saw it clearly, now a man in a dark coat, holding a phone, his face hidden by a hood. He took a step toward her, and Lily's heart stopped. Was he here to hurt her, or was he part of something bigger? Before she could move, her phone buzzed in her pocket. She hadn't even realized she had it back. With shaking hands, she pulled it out and saw a text from an unknown number. "Don't trust him. Meet me at the old mill at midnight. Bring the key." Lily's eyes darted to the mansion, then back to the figure. He was gone, vanished into the rain. Her mind raced. Who sent the text? What did the key unlock? And why had Ethan looked at her like she was nothing? The truth was out there, but it was dangerous and Lily was about to walk right into it. Lily stood shivering in the rain, clutching the rusted key, and staring at the cryptic text on her phone. "Don't trust him. Meet me at the old mill at midnight. Bring the key." Her heart pounded as she glanced around, the shadowy figure in the dark coat now gone, swallowed by the storm. The Hawthorne mansion loomed behind her, its windows dark and unwelcoming. Ethan's cold gaze and the mysterious woman in the red dress haunted her thoughts. Was Ethan really betraying her, or was something bigger at hatred? With nowhere else to go, Lily decided to find answers. Gripping the key, she stumbled through the rain toward the old mill, unaware of the danger waiting for her. Build up. A desperate journey hours earlier, before the storm and her eviction. Lily had been piecing together clues about the strange events in the mansion. The threatening notes, the torn paintings, the creepy rose on her pillow. They all pointed to someone trying to drive her away. She'd started keeping a small journal, jotting down everything odd, hoping to make sense of it. One entry mentioned a locked door in the mansion's west wing she'd never been allowed to enter. Could the rusted key fit that door? She hadn't had the chance to find out before the family threw her out. Now, alone in the rain, Lily trudged through Willow Creek's muddy streets toward the old mill, a crumbling building on the edge of town. She remembered Ethan mentioning it once, saying it used to belong to his family before they abandoned it. Her shoes squelched in the mud, and her soaked dress clung to her skin, but she kept going. The text had warned her not to trust him. Was it Ethan, or someone else in the family, like Marcus? The uncertainty gnawed at her, but the key in her pocket felt like her only hope. Along the way, memories of happier times with Ethan flooded back. Their first date by the river, his shy smile when he gave her a daisy, the way he'd promised to always protect her. Those moments felt like a lifetime ago. Now, she couldn't shake the image of him with that woman in the red dress. Had he lied to her all along? The thought made her chest ache, but a tiny spark of hope kept her moving. Maybe the meeting at the mill would explain everything. Pacing. Rising tension as Lily neared the mill, the storm grew wilder, with thunder shaking the ground. The mill was a dark, sagging structure, its windows boarded up and its walls covered in ivy. The creaky wooden door was slightly ajar, swaying in the wind. Lily's heart raced as she stepped inside, the air thick with the smell of mold and rust. Her phone buzzed again, another text. Upstairs. Hurry! She gripped the key tighter and climbed the rickety stairs, each step creaking loudly. At the top, a faint light flickered from a room at the end of the hall. Her stomach twisted with fear, but she forced herself forward. Inside the room, a single candle burned on a dusty table, casting eerie shadows. A figure stood in the corner, their face hidden in the darkness. "Who are you?" Lily asked, her voice trembling. "Why am I here?" The figure stepped into the light, revealing a man with gray hair and tired eyes. He looked familiar, but Lily couldn't place him. "You're Lily, Ethan's wife," he said, his voice low. "I'm Thomas, the old groundskeeper. I worked for the Hawthorns years ago, until they fired me for knowing too much." Lily's eyes widened. Knowing what? Please, tell me what's going on. Thomas glanced at the door, nervous. "The Hawthorns are hiding something. That Kayet opens a safe in the mansion's west wing. Inside is proof of their lies, but you're in danger, Lily. They'll do anything to keep their secrets." Before he could say more, a loud crash echoed downstairs. Thomas's face paled. "They're here," he whispered. "Run." Pacing. High moment Lily's heart leapt into her throat as footsteps thundered up the stairs. She clutched the key and bolted toward a back window, but the footsteps were too fast. The door burst open, and Marcus, Ethan's older brother, stood there, his eyes cold and furious. Behind him was the woman in the red dress, her lips curled into a cruel smile. "Going somewhere, Lily?" Marcus said, stepping closer. "You shouldn't be poking around where you don't belong." Lily backed away, her hands shaking. "What do you want from me? Why are you doing this?" The woman laughed, her voice sharp. "You're so naive. You think Ethan loves you. He's part of this, Lily. He's always been part of it." Lily's knees nearly gave out. "No, that's not true." But doubt crept in, fueled by Ethan's silence earlier that night. Thomas tried to step between them, but Marcus shoved him hard, sending him crashing into the table. The candle fell, igniting a pile of old papers. Flames began to spread, licking at the dry wood of the mill. "Get the key!" the woman shouted. Lily turned and ran, dodging Marcus's grasp. She scrambled down a back staircase, the fire growing behind her. Smoke filled her lungs as she burst outside, the storm still raging. She didn't know if Thomas had escaped or if Marcus and the woman were still chasing her. All she knew was she had to protect the key and find out what Ethan was hiding. Cliffhanger Lily stumbled through the rain, her breath ragged, the key digging into her palm. She hid behind a tree, watching as the mill's roof began to glow orange with fire. Sirens wailed in the distance. Someone must have seen the flames. But then, her phone buzzed again. Another text, this time from Ethan's number. "Lily, I'm sorry. Meet me at the river now. I can explain everything." Her heart stopped. Was it really Ethan or a trap? The river was where they'd fallen in love, but after tonight, could she trust him? As she hesitated, headlights pierced the rain, and a car screeched to a stop nearby. A figure stepped out, and Lily's blood ran cold. It was Ethan Butt. He was holding something in his hand, glinting in the lightning. Was it a phone or something far more dangerous?